Okay. Well, it's
What?
if we imagine if we just ate and we never let go, we'd all be, you know, eventually it has to happen. So, um, why don't we all just get present for the moment of how much our body is perfectly intelligent and everything is happening perfectly, and let's open up and receive the presence. So even though I might be back live, I'm not exactly sure because the things are swirling. I could have just stayed in that space probably this whole call because it's a lovely place to be. There doesn't seem to be any shit.
There's none.
Well,
Everything is perfect. It's the way it is.
yes, it's perfectly imperfect. That was a different experience for me because when I usually move my hands, I kind of feel like the momentum kind of comes up, and there it is. I just put my hands out, and it already existed. It didn't come from anywhere. It didn't kind of show up. It was just my awareness that it's already there, which is very different. Which was very very good too. Actually, that was kind of neat. So that just means I've managed to get a little bit more of myself out of the way, thinking I have something to do with it.
So you're giving yourself up as that part of what you.
Well, I don't view it as giving it up. I just view it as like that side of me basically is what gives me a hard time in life. So I'm choosing the easier way, which is way less work, and I don't have to really do much about that. And I think that, like we talked about, like the other day when we were didn't record it, which was a mistake. There was a lot of good stuff we talked about, but it's like as we're preparing our body to deal with more light and stuff like all that sort of thing, we I don't think that's hard work. I think we're convinced that it's hard work. I think it's the most natural way we have to be, and it's just like an old habit, which for sure can be a little bit of work. But when you finally get there and you have that breath of fresh air, you realize this is the simplest, easiest thing I could have ever done in my life. Why did it take me till I was like 50 years old to actually put that together? And it's because of awareness, right? If we were taught about it as kids and our parents knew about it and there was a couple generations of that, I think it would be really easy and really simple and all that sort of stuff. But I think we're coming from perhaps on a scale that it's going down. We've never had this sort of human experience on this numbers and this type of amount of energy light coming from so many people at once. It's like a brand new experience for the entire planet. So that's just my thoughts on it. So like, I don't think we really have much to give up, and other than just torturing ourselves and dragging this out longer than it needs to be.
Exactly.
But
So-
people love the drama.
Yeah.
People
Well-
love the drama.
We've been tied to the whipping post for generations, and nobody wants to give up the whipping post. And it's like, really?
Well, in my household, my mother used to watch soap operas, and
You keep cutting out.
We lost you.
I think everyone here's parents probably did that.
Yep.
Okay, you're back now. Quick talk.
I was just saying, my mom used to watch soap operas, so that there was always drama, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, and I think that imprinted also on me. It would be like high, low, high, low, high, low, right until you go, no, because I think we mimic the world we see. So if we're all going to move towards more peace and light and embodying that, the next generations will naturally follow.
Yeah. I watched a neuroscientist talking about how the mind works. And for most people, if you're not discerning how to file it in your head, your mind does it in autopilot.
Yep.
And it doesn't have, unless we choose to do it, it doesn't have truth and not truth. It's just got information. So like if you're watching soap operas, it's just information. It's not good, bad, indifferent. And it files it in all the appropriate categories until you consciously go, no, not valid, not valid, not valid. And if you don't ever have that process, which most people, when they're just, working hard to pay bills and they don't think of much else, they're in autopilot mode so often that your brain doesn't discern from TV, cartoons, or anything from what reality is. It just files it in different categories in the mind as it's all real.
Problematic with the TV is that they put stuff behind the screen that we don't see, but the subconscious sees it. So it's part of the brainwashing of humanity. Stay in front of the TV with a Coca-Cola and chip, get fat, don't do nothing. You know?
I don't even think they're hiding it anymore. I think it's pretty straight.
Well, now, no, but they
Yeah.
used to, and
Yeah.
it's a well-known thing now that they use that, control of the masses with the big TV, the big light, So, so I don't know if they used to put that in the soap opera, but what's good coming out of a TV screen?
No,
I don't know.
It's programming.
Yeah, but
they call it a program for a reason.
you see any kids that can read now with a book in their hand? It's funny. We were talking so when I was younger. I don't know how to say it in English, but the teacher gave us shit if we could not write with the together. Like the letter attached.
Yeah.
Okay, we had to learn from square letters to attach together. I think cursive.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And now try to find a kid, a youngster that will know how to write attached letters all together. They don't. They write what you put on your computer. Separate letter. I don't know what you call it in English. Attaché, détaché for us. So it's like the learning curve went like this, went flat, too much TV. Whew. The dumbing down of humanity, Ask kids, or not even kids, teenager, anything about geography, politics, history. They don't know shit. Sorry.
So
They
you're
know
saying we
nothing.
need to give up education.
Huh?
Yeah, like that's it. Education, like there has been some wrong facts in education. So when you even talk about cursive writing, people learned to do cursive writing in a sense as a signature, which was then your legal binding aspect.
Yeah, but the process of cursive writing teaches you fine motor control, which changes the way the brain works, because then the brain maps on that. So it's not just the actual physical act of writing; it's the what that does to the brain in terms of critical thinking and everything else. So yeah, they may have trained us for a signature, but what they also trained, and they awakened pathways in the brain that just don't get awakened any other way, because it takes that fine motor control. It's like watching somebody work with their hands. It opens up different pathways. So that can be used for good or used for not so good, but it still does something to the brain.
See, all the old treaties were in cursive.
Yeah.
The old treaties were in cursive. Then they took that out. Then now they reinstalled it, and now they took it out again. Same
I think
thing.
you might have been in symbols, and so I had my daughters were at the Waldorf school, and they taught how to knit, and they did craft before cursive writing wasn't introduced to grade 3, and that wasn't so. Cursive writing wasn't the development of the fine motor skills. The knitting and the aspect of working with their fingers and other crafts is what developed. And that's from their perspective, right?
Yeah, because from the cursive writing too becomes pattern recognition, right? So the brain recognizes certain patterns, certain shapes, certain, when you watch a fast reader and they do brain mapping, you see where the areas of the brain light up and how that happens. So it's, again, all things can be used for nastiness and.
Well,
Yeah,
okay,
see,
so let's go to Chinese people, for instance. They don't do cursive writing.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah,
yet
they just use it form of symbol, but they do the attached letters. They write in the opposite direction, but it's still a form of cursive if you watch.
it's
Like
very intricate.
even with Sanskrit, right? There's still that fine motor control making small characters that are joined together in words.
You have to think. See, nowadays they have emojis, and you used to have hieroglyph. We're going back to the Egyptian.
Yeah.
The kids started all emojis and one word. and 5 emojis. We're going backward, if you ask me. But I guess I'm negative today. But
well,
Maybe it's the right way. It's not
That's-
backwards.
I had too much shit this weekend. That's what I needed to release. Well, for the people that don't know, my server backed up, so I was stuck and unplugging and having the guy to pump the truck to pump. So
Oh.
if we have everything that we need always in the presence, then each of us has stories about what we think we need in order for the next generation to develop. Can we concur on that? So, no. Did you say no?
No, I said,
who said
That's a
that?
note.
I can neither agree nor disagree.
Because we're the only thing in nature that does that. We try and improve the next generation.
I missed the question. I was in my head, so
Well, I'm really concerned about talking about the next generation while we are still on the cusp of finding out our bearings here.
Because I think our generation can be just like the previous generation that's looking back and saying, you're not like our generation. And why don't we just worry about, not worry, but just deal with being personally responsible for each of ourselves and then trust the process.
Yeah, everything starts with yourself. I'm learning I'm diving into the Tao 2,500 years ago, and I'm reading a book with my girlfriend, and she's got 45,000 people following her, and it's growing, and she's writing in this way of life that has been taught to us to connect with the source and be neutral, no identity, and just connect with this energy in the universe that is allowing us to be neutral and look at the common good and the wholeness of the planet and because right now, what we witness, if you say one thing the world needs to release right now, we're still at the stage of ego running the show everywhere. And even those fully aware of the ego, when you come to have money in the argument, they go for ego. They don't go for the whole. It's me, myself, and I again. And even if they're really anchored into doing something good and they talk about it, we're really at step one in our baby step evolution, in my view. We still need to be aligned with this godly source that is available all the time for all of us. But are we really to do it, really ready to do it in practicality and really religiously, if I can use another word than religious, because this is not part of religion, adhere to and really live a life that you're honest with yourself. Otherwise, where are we going?
Well, when we live now, we gotta do our life. We're here in the human form to do our life. You know, we have a path to do. But if nobody plants a seed today, what's gonna be tomorrow? So we do share a responsibility for future generation always.
Sure.
There's no humanity
that's why I
if
come here.
everybody only think about fixing ourselves now, never looking forward. There's no future. Who will do the future?
Well, I'm in the forest right now, and I can tell you that things are growing, even though I cut them down. Right? Like I trimmed, they're coming back. There's a few things that are coming through the ground. You know,
We're,
things are
ta-
growing.
we're talking humanity, not
Well,
Mother Earth.
Well, aren't we all part
Different.
aren't we all part of the one?
Not
Yeah.
anymore.
We're part of it. They're part of us, but we're distinct.
One of the things humans have that most other animals don't is that we have the arrogance to think we can not be a part of it. Some people can choose to think that they can be not part of one, and they can be part of their own one.
It's all inclusive. At this point, I agree with you, Thunder Bear. It's all inclusive to everything, everyone. Everything is in question in regards to our evolution. You cannot eliminate anything part of the picture.
We are all one, but as anything else, as a progression levels goes, there's always steps in everything. So if no human think of humanity for the future, there's no humanity. You know? So
Is that, are you 100% sure that's true?
Well, I think there's another force at play that we don't even need to worry about this at this point, because evolution is at the state it is, and I strongly believe that everything is perfect, because it needs to come to a point of connecting with that energy, allowing to live peacefully and do the best you can do with the control you have. The only control you have is with yourself. You cannot control anything out there. We can talk from now until tomorrow about humanity and the world and the future, but what are you doing daily to do your spiritual practice and really bring this energy that is all part of us? The animals do it. I'm living on West Lake right now, and I look at the birds. They all behave according to this energy. They're receiving, being guided intuitively. They don't have ego in the way. What's going on with us?
Yeah.
And we calm down the mind and really feel what's going on here in this time. Like, it comes down to so many teachings from thousands of years ago that why it takes so long for people to get it.
Mother Earth will always rebalance herself, no matter she adapts, okay, to a certain level. When there's too much push on her, too much pressure, she kind of revolt. Volcano, hurricane stuff, blah blah blah, and we're on the cycle base. Civilization. We're not the first, and we're surely not the last civilization or human coming in this big blue ball. So. As that saying, okay, does animal have souls? Do they have conscience and soul, or they mostly react upon instinct and survival guidance and everything? So if they have soul, okay, they know right and wrong, okay, they should. But animal's going to kill another animal to feed itself too. Survival instinct come in. As a human, we do have the survival instinct, but mostly when we're stuck in the corners, like. I will try not to fight, but if somebody jam me in a corner with a knife, well, I'll fight. Survival of the species. But survival of the species also tends to, if you have 5 kids, you're gonna try to make sure that there's something for your other generation, and we're supposed to use our brain for the people that do have one. So using your brain is a bit going, to have a look any farther than your own self or farther than your nose, and to act upon it. My vision. They're very clear. Don't plant seeds, and you'll see. You're gonna kill all the animals, fish all the fish, and there's nothing to eat. There's no future. Humanity needs to look forward for itself, okay, or for their generation. Same as a mother goose is gonna protect our little children. Well, part of us, we have the soul. I don't know if I express myself good in English, but un âme, c'est ça, un âme, Silver Fox, soul.
Yeah, soul. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. If we have a soul, okay, and we're here on this big blue planet to come back a few times to evolve to, I don't want to say better people, but elevate to a certain degree to pass on to another dimension, let's say. Okay. You have to be conscious of your action, reaction. Okay. So, and how could I say that? You can see the best out of human in a lot of situations. Okay. But you also can see the worst of human when they have nothing to eat. If I can't feed my kids, I'm going to go steal to somebody else. I'm going to do something illegal to make sure my kid's going to eat before me. But I will do it for sure. I'm going to go illegally hunting or fishing because it's part the same as an animal. Okay. You want to make sure that, something survive after you. I don't know how you call it in English, the proper English, but it's part of us. It's intrinsic into us. Survival of the species, it's in there. So
what is blinding us from our survival mode?
Yeah. Well, we still have the beast inside of us.
I know.
If shit happens, you'll see the beast come out. Not only men. You can make a woman very angry. Touch her kids. No, when a woman wants to defend their kid, they're gonna jump on the guys 3 times their size to protect their kid. It's instinct. But your brain, you will try to make you avoid that situation. Same as I think it's natural into the human spirit to try to see or forecast that, I have kids, I need to do something for them future. But upstairs, the little sentence I said, plant some seeds, meaning like look forward for the other generation. So message upstairs, plant the seed.
And on the other end,
my garden is done.
and on the other end of that, you can see the worst in humanity come out when they have more than they need. Then it's like, I have a shirt. I need 6 shirts. I need 12 shirts. I need a bigger house. I need more food. I need a larger car. And we see that perpetuate because there's no control over that end either. I'm so important. I need all of this. I need to go there. I need to travel here. I need this. And it just grows from there. And it's like,
I deal every day with people like that have way too much. Okay. Every day. And I've learned so much in the last 7 years. Okay. Then again, there are that are like that, but a few, okay, but not the majority. But a few of them are such good people, you know. Some of them made it like big, but they're not like that, you know. So same actor. There's always exception on the good or the bad, you know.
Yeah.
But yes, if you give too much, you know, mostly men, I think, you know, the ego goes. You know, I said, big head there, big swallowed in. You know, it's easy for men. Hey, I was guilty of that when I was young. I'll give you a good example, okay? When I
We
came out
were
of the
all
military, huh?
we were all guilty of that, I guess.
Yeah, well, when I went out of the military, I didn't have much money with a young kid. Then I had another kid right after, and was in the end of 80s. There were no job or nothing. So my brother gave me a whole pickup truck. You know, I could see when I hit the bump, I could see the truck hitting the wood. You know, the bing, 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 bing. So I told myself, I said, I will never stay like that. You know, so it's a bad situation. I'll come out of it. You know, so I'm young. I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna do my stuff. After I made it through construction, I had my own business. I worked for a lot of people before. I said, "Oh, I don't want to do that. I want my own business. I want to create something, you know." So I started to make money, more money, and more money, and do. I was easy. I was not a multimillionaire, but I was quite easy. Okay. And one day I'm going on the highway with the wife and the kid in a brand new pickup truck, and I pass a car and I look. I said, an old beat up car. You know, I see the guy, the wife beside it, two kids on behind. Old beat up car full of rust. My brain goes. I said, why can't you work harder to, you know, have a safe car for their children and everything? Then he just fucking hit me like a sledgehammer. Pow! Okay? It says, you were that guy so many years ago. I said, holy gee. I said, I have money. I became an asshole. You know? I said, oh, you gotta be careful. From that day on, I said, oh, no more thinking that I'm better with the money or anything or blah, blah, blah. I said, we don't know what that guy went through, you know, but it was a teaching about money. And I'm happy at that because when you deal with people with lots of money, I got little story to tell them sometimes. You know, you can be AI and you can go very low, A fast too, you know. So be good, be kind. It's part of our job. I want to answer the thing about awful and to release. Okay. If I can. After that, I'll be quiet. Okay. So for me,
Well, I was going to say, let's just shift it up and then we'll come back to your answer.
okay, well, shift and I'll go to my answer after.
Well, what if we released everything before this moment in time, like even what we've been talking about, and everything was gone? Then what would we have to be except to be and have the experience? Because we wouldn't have all this stuff to say, well, I've seen the neuroscientists and this 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 and this. We just only have what we're receiving in this moment. And to me, that's about releasing everything, releasing the shit. Is there's nothing to go back and say, well, because of that, I can do this.
So we release all the good too.
Yeah, everything. You start like you've just all of a sudden like you've got no memory.
You're blank.
Right? You're blank, like a child.
I would think that you were all much better looking then.
And you would definitely be married.
Says the guy who shaved twice in the last meeting, finally.
I'm just going to share a bit of my contracting life. Like I grew up in Hamilton, which is like, it's like, to me, it's the nickel and dime town. Like everything, every little penny counts. It's like very working class town as opposed to management and blue collar and all that sort of stuff. And then I started getting work in Oakville, which is all management style people with a lot more money, like a lot more money. And at first I didn't trust anyone because my dad always said the rich people, you can't trust them. So I went in there not trusting people and stuff like that. And like Danny had the experience. I learned that I met some people that were probably the nicest people I've ever worked for in Oakville. And for sure, I ran into a couple that were just jerks too. But the vast majority of the people that I worked for in Oakville were unbelievably nice. Like Joan, when she used to work with me, she knows the one client I had, Mike, and he was just like, he would do anything for you anytime, whenever. Like he'd know I was going on holidays. If I was working there, he'd come over and give me $500. Say, have a good holiday. Like he was just salt of the earth. Amazing human being. But I also known him for a lot of years, and he worked real hard when he was younger and earned money. So he didn't ever come from money. So he actually always liked helping people. So, but there were some other people that I worked for that grew up in money and were surrounded by lots of money. And that guy tipped me about 4 or 5 times working on his house. And he was just fantastic. I was really sad when they moved away because it was too easy working for him. Like I went up to him in the beginning. He's like, I was working for this designer who took me to all her clients and said, just don't hire anyone else, just hire him. And so there was a number of years I didn't have to look for work. I just would walk in and she'd introduce me and they wouldn't even ask how much or when. They just start doing it and hand me invoices. And this guy in the beginning, I said, well, let me give you an estimate, let you know where we're going. He goes, no, don't do that. I said, no, let me give you an estimate. I don't want any surprises, whatever. And he looked at me and goes, don't waste my time. Don't give me the invoice. Just do the work. Ask me what you want and I'll write you a check. And then he goes, you need 10 grand now? And it was like, whoa. And that they were very, very rich, very, very rich people,
Well,
on the other side of that, there was other ones too that like to set you up to rip you off too. There was a few of those too in Oakville.
Oh yeah.
I've learned the difference between being a rich person and a wealthy person. Okay, the wealthy, it's like LT person for me.
Yes.
The rich is only people that have money.
Yeah.
We say in French, les parvenus. The people that came from nothing to maybe like a couple of million they're the worst. Sorry. But after that, the people that are very high up there, they're usually fine. Very easy to deal. It's the one that had nothing that become and the money guides their life. They're so scared of losing but I don't want to categorize everybody, but my own experience, it's there is a threshold, when you pass, it's like, oh, money is not an object for them. What they want is quality, the relation with their contractor and everything. So construction is a good place, a contractor to learn a lot about life through construction. Trust me.
Oh yeah, you're dealing with everybody.
And when you do
You've got your
kitchen,
construction story now too, Silver Fox. So let's give it all fair time. What's your favorite construction story?
are you a construction guy too?
I am a general contractor, award-winning in New Brunswick, but I was doing such a good job, they kicked me out. I could not buy property. I could not buy property. I had the methodology, went to National Research Council. They created a report through their industrial research program to develop a software based on the methodology I was using to run my construction company, which I developed over a 10-year period kind of thing. And I became a threat to the establishment because I was talking about economy and transparency and all these things. And then public servants were told in New Brunswick, if they help me, they lose their jobs. What do you want to do? Anyone that wants to innovate and you become a threat to the existing power structure, they take you out. And that's not my words. That's a politician from Vancouver that told me that when I told him my story about just what I just shared with you right now. He said, sorry, man, we took you out from Vancouver. So they know exactly what they're doing in the political arena.
Oh, I've been taken out, trust me.
So anyway,
but we need to sit beside that. We need to sit together eventually. Back to my walking turtle. She's stressing. I see it in her face. We're going, hey, you said to release. We're all releasing. Okay.
Self-responsibility, and we're all going to go back into our past and talk about the other people. Come on now.
If I can
get with
the
experience,
we're going to pass this on other generations when we can't even stay present in this conversation. So
we are present.
But that's how modern teachings evolve, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, it's true. That's why we're here, to show that we all have different perspectives.
Yeah,
So-
I
so
concur
we
with Thunder
release-
Bear. I concur with Thunder Bear when he said the experience he's got with his customers, because I have mentors with me that is overlooking what I'm doing, and I walk in, I do complete bathroom and kitchen renovations, and most of my customers, I walk in, I present myself, and they just like, here's the code to the door, here's the key to the house. They trust me systematically. Most of them. My friend in Peterborough, he's a great soul. He's a poet, and he's been working around the world all his life. Gave me the key to his house. You can come here anytime you want, and he's referring me to jobs, so I don't even need to hunt for work almost. So I did the renovation for his friend, bathroom renovation last winter, and I allowed 10% in the budget to do the renovation, and at the end they were so happy they gave me the 10% extra. They just gave it.
It's funny, three construction guy that has basically the same story, three GC, general contractor, that actually basically had the same experience, So I guess we were the good guys,
I mean, when I like to say it this way, if I want to share something positive about construction and how I look at it, I was asked. My son is in Vancouver, BC, and he started contracting in painting, and he's got such a beautiful personality with people that people love him just because the way he is. And then I asked him at the beginning, I said, what is the true product you're selling? He said, I'm selling painting. I said, no, painting is the commodity, is what the people want. Then I asked him, what is the true product you're selling?
Himself.
And he was a little bit confused about what to answer, because it's kind of when it comes from his perspective and many. And then I explained to him, the true product you're selling is how the people feel and the experience they had with you while you were offering them their commodity. And this is good for any service business. And when you really understand this and you have that in mind, you want to be nice with people, because this is the true product of what you're doing. You're providing the best experience you can. And if there's anything about what the world needs not to release, is more about how to be of service to others and know the importance of doing that with everything that you do. Otherwise, what are you doing? If you allow the ego to come to the equation of the experience, what are you doing? Are you really bringing the energy that is driving life in the universe and all matter? Or you're bringing the ego to continue to perpetrate the show we're in? It comes down to that always.
Yeah, totally agree with that, because I see some of the big struggles of folks is like walking the spiritual path without recognition is a problem. Therefore I've got to do this and I've got to do that, as opposed to working behind the scenes and very quietly and influencing the world by your presence, but not making a show of it and not being recognized for it. A lot of people have problems with that.
Well, I have a bit of an issue with. I was saying to someone the other day, it's like we want to get away from this idea of a hierarchical and people telling us what to do, and yet I hear people saying, "Yeah, but let's find the influencer with the most followers, and we'll get them to spread the message." It's like, how is that any different? Like you're still looking for somebody to influence somebody else instead of allowing them to be with whatever it is for themselves and to make their own choices.
Yeah.
Yep.
So are you done with your construction stories now, guys? No.
Next week we make a special just construction.
Maybe it's because you're all moving to something higher, and the construction, it's like you need to get this all out of your system now, because maybe you'll never have another construction experience again.
No, because we want to build a new wall for retirement. So, we're sharing at the base of it.
And if
No,
if
I
no one
agree
does
with that.
construction and it's left to people who aren't general contractors, I'm frightened. I am frightened.
Well, building things is what everybody needs
Yes.
in the society and the collaboration and the manufacturing. And when you look at the whole chain of things that we need, it's by the entrepreneurs are right in the middle of this. And if there's something positive to contribute to improve in the world and release is that bringing the best in what you do, so more people can actually make the world better by their presence, by their intentions of serving others. And it's not just about money, because if you reduce your expenses, you don't need so much money. And if you can do something extra for someone that's outside of the contract that you have, my God, their perspective on you is changing. And Stephen Covey has described this in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People as creating an emotional bank deposit, because you're doing something that is not expected, that most people will not do if they're not paid for. Give me the money if I do something for you, right? I remember at Christmas, there was a lady that she had problem with her hands, and I finished painting her kitchen, and it was a mess. And it was just before Christmas last fall, in December. And I said, well, I'm washing your floor whether you want it or not. And I washed the floor because she didn't have time to do it. I worked the rest of the afternoon washing your floor, did not charge for it. But, anytime I go there, she gives me food to bring home. She's giving me something. It's a good exchange. You're developing relationships. You're creating that emotional bank deposit in their heart, because you're not acting like most people up there. Right?
Wasn't Yeshua a carpenter anyway? So.
Yeah. Fisherman, carpenter. Aren't we supposed to be all fisher of men?
We're not getting out of this, huh? when you crank construction guy, you're stuck. Jacqueline, you're gonna take control of the situation now.
No, this
Be an angry turtle, not a walking one.
Oh, walking. So, what did you get to say? What you wanted to say when I said let's just move and see if anyone else has anything to say, or have you forgotten that?
Who?
You, Eastern Eagle.
I missed it again. I thought you told me to say what I need to say at the end.
She was hoping you were going to forget.
Well, I did. That she brings it back now. Well, if there's no releasing, there's no place for new stuff to grow or do new stuff. You're like a big heavy rock. So
embrace the new.
And if you release too much, you've forgotten everything.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of Alzheimer in my family, so I gotta be careful what I release. I'm done. That's it.
If I am always connected, Great Spirit is in me and around me, and everything is one, do I need to have access to the past, or can the past just come through the information that comes to me in the present?
Depends if you're living in society or not, or what's around you. Sometimes we need those lessons from the past to carry forward for me as a shortcut to what I'm seeing in the world around me. If I'm home alone and in the bush, I can forget it. If I'm out in society, there's a few things I need to remember.
Well, I get that, right? What I'm wondering though, since none of us have been in that or I don't know, maybe some of you have, but if none of us, if there is nothing to remember, are we going to get what we need to do in that moment? Are we going to, what we think we need to remember in order to cope in society? Are we capable of just being there to have the experience? And maybe have more awe and appreciation for that experience.
It's all of the above.
You know, the past, the present, and the future is always just a fraction of a second away from each other, you know?
Yeah.
So,
And if we're all connected and have access to everything, then we don't need to experience a thing.
oh,
Yeah, and
just
so
like,
we don't need to. Maybe it's just that we choose to, and this really is a big playground, and we've made it into such a bigger drama.
it's funny,
Then we can just experience the same thing every day and have no memory of it and keep going. Like, we don't need new experiences. If we forget or if we leave it all behind, then that experience, the same experience the next day, is as fresh as it was today.
Well, the drama is essential.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have the drama, how can you discover what you don't want in your life? The ego is really there to show us what we don't want. And by experiencing the ego with others, you choose to stay quiet. You choose your relationships more carefully. You choose your battles. But if you don't have the ego to show you what you don't want, what's the purpose of our soul evolution here on this life?
Well, go ahead.
it's funny because it brings back to the subject of releasing. You know, when I was young, I wanted to accumulate all kind of stuff. You know, plane, cars, toys, voyage, and since I went on my spiritual path, the vision I have is when I die, the only thing I want to own is whatever is going to be in my backpack. You know, I said that's all I want to keep with me. You know, but even spiritually or mentally, you know, I'm going to bring back construction as a general contractor. I never used the computers. I did everything I'm a pen of paper kind of guy, you know. So, and I didn't have time to write down everything. So I recorded everything, every quotation, every line on each quotation was in my head. Every phone number of the client. I did not register the phone number in the phone. I always use memories. So I trained my memory to register everything I was doing in business, you know, so I could go back in my brain a year backward in a quotation I did. I saw the price for that was that, you know, because I trained myself to remember all those little things. But you know what? It became like heavy in the head, you know, because it was full, always full. And my brain was never stopped spinning, even at night. So I was always tired. And I've learned in the last few years to release. I said, I don't need all that, you know. Plus, I got to admit some technology. The phone now, I put the memory thing. But see, that's why I say the kids are dumber, you know, because, hey, they don't use their brain. Now I just go, I need a phone number. Okay, I don't remember any phone numbers now. You know, I barely remember face and who people are, you know, so it's not important no more. Mm-hmm. So as being older, it's really so much stuff that I don't need that I had because of business, and even my personal stuff in life. I want to get rid of everything, you know. I keep on giving everything. Somebody comes, oh, I like that. Oh, so you want it? Take it. It's there. Take it. And you know what? The less stuff I have, the easier my life is. I have nothing to care for. I don't even have a car under my name now, so I don't give a damn. Plus, the big bad wolf, you know, of New Brunswick cannot get to me because I ain't got fucking shit, you know. So hey, I feel at peace, you know? Yeah. So releasing a lot of stuff was very healthy for me.
So you'll own nothing and be happy. That's what they say, right?
Well, if the government say it is one thing, you know.
Well,
There's reason why I don't own anything. We'll have to have a long conversation beside that, not on public, okay?
Well,
But it was releasing for me. Releasing of un fardeau. It was a weight, in my head always to keep all that, but it kept my brain working very, very sharp all the time. Like now I'm more slow. I'm gonna take more. I'll be 59 next week, so I guess that age goes with it. But it's true. I was sharper. I remember everything, and now I barely remember my own fucking address here. Because I know where the TP is. Oh, it's there. I look at it, it's there. So I released so much, but it left a lot of place for the spiritual aspect because my brain ain't so overloaded with all that information that actually don't really need anymore anyway.
Right.
So it was good then it was good in the past. Now it's useless. So I got way more stuff to do the spiritual thing.
So that's what the younger generation looks at it, is like, why do I need to know all that stuff, right? Because it's on the phone, or I can Google it. Because if I want that information, I can get it.
Yeah, call a robot AI, artificial intelligence. As Google. Who control Google? That's the problematic for me is behind that, So they all ask Google. Who is Google? Who control Google? So you want to have everybody think the same way? Hey, ask Google.
No, you can use other search engines, right? And you can get maybe a different response. Like when that's an interesting analogy that I've used, is like if you go to Google and you search 3 keywords, it'll be different than if you go to DuckDuckGo or if you go to Safari. Safari might be more similar to Google, but DuckDuckGo can be completely different. And so technically speaking, you could use that as an analogy. It's like, who are you going to get your answers? And is one better than the other, right? Or is that just the experience? But do you need to have all that information that Google has, or can you just, ask the question?
Ain't the Great Spirit supposed to guide us all, Walking Turtle?
Yeah.
It's the biggest computer there is up there. All the knowledge is up there.
Asking you so Google Analytics, right, is all changing at the end of this month. So I don't know if any of you guys are getting your little notices, or is it just me because I've got an online thing? But that's the scoop. They've been knowing it for a year, and now it's like the last little hurrah. It's like it's changing. Changing. You better sign up and get the change. And it's like inside me it says no. I don't have to understand what it's all doing, but it sounds like when I read it all, it sounds like it might be a good thing. It's going to maybe enhance privacy, but there's still something in me that says no. So that's what I'm going to go with, the no.
Yeah, people have to start saying no to many things that is happening that they don't feel good about. And don't be scared. Seek like-minded people that wants to question and live a life that is peaceful, lawful, and realistic. We are a world of people. The rest is a lot of illusion. All we have is relations between each other. We got to go back to square one and reinvent the world, in my view. But how do you do that? You got to live it. Do it.
Imsat Nogama, to all my relation. Why do you think we say that to everything?
Oh, yeah.
No?
Yeah.
I think Walking Turtle is so frozen. Yeah. Silver Fox, after we're off the live there, I'm going to take your address. I'm going to send you the letter.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I'll lick a stamp and put a stamp to it, okay?
Okay.
Walking Turtle has got the perfect internet connection because it's so slow. It's when I must be retreating inside my shell or something.
Must be warm and comfy in that shell.
So letting it all go is saying no more, Silver Fox?
Learn to say no, and more. Oh, then releasing is embracing the world the way it is. Not releasing, but acceptance of what is. It is where it is now because it is at this state of the evolution of our consciousness, and more and more people are being hit by the energy coming from the universe and the sun. There's nothing you can do. There's a greater force at play over here that is like, let's embrace it. Let's empty our life of the noises and be in alignment with this godly force energy, the source that is driving our instinct. We just need to listen. It's there always for us. I don't think it becomes to that simple thought that the teachers of the past, whether you talk about Jesus, the Tao, or the Greek philosophers, what they've been writing so long ago, even Rumi, the Persian philosopher that wrote so much poetry, they're all talking the same language. And yeah, it's very simple. I'm trying to do this anyway. Live it.
Yeah. So the sun dance signifies what, Thunder Bear?
I'm not an expert in that. I just know I'm supposed to go. I kind of view it as it's like Dave Sr. was the one that passed the pipe to me 25, 30 years ago or whenever it was. And now he's passed and his son is running things there. It's almost like closure of a circle to start a new one. So
What is the sun dance?
It's a indigenous ceremony where you get up at sunrise, have a sweat, dance all day, and it's over at sunset, and you don't eat or drink for 4 days.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, other things that go on there too, like they do healings and whatever, and they do piercings and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't the sun dancers allowed to have water though?
I haven't been in a long time. I don't remember what it was like it was quite a few years ago when I went.
Okay.
So
'Cause, like,
effectively, we're letting go of our idea of Thunder Bear because he will not be the same when he returns.
When is he going?
I fly out tomorrow morning.
Oh, good luck.
When I did the sun dance a whole lot of years ago, I can't even remember how long, and like it was 20, 30 years ago or whatever. I was dancing and I burn really easy. I'm incredibly white, so I burn really fast. And so I looked down at my feet, and Spirit was there going, "You should cover your feet up." And I thought, I'm good. They're covered in dirt. And I had like basically 3rd-degree burns on the top of my feet. Like when we finished the sun dance, my feet were really swollen and sore, and I thought, oh well, I'll get over that. So I put socks on, and there was 3 of us that went up there. We took turns driving back to living in this area, and that was up by Thunder Bay. Actually, if anyone knows where Marathon is, it was in Marathon, which is just this side of Thunder Bay. But anyways, by the time I got home, the tops of my feet were infused to the socks because they were oozing so much from the burns, and it took me 3 days of soaking my feet in ice baths to get the socks off my feet. And when I was standing up, my toes wouldn't even touch the ground. That's how fat my feet were. And the tops of my feet were crispy, like the skin you pull off a farmer sausage, right? It peeled. It was so nasty. So yeah,
Did
Sundance.
they hook you? Did they hook you to the pole?
What's that?
Did they hook you to the pole?
No.
No.
They didn't roast you, but so this time you've got sunblock for your feet, or
Well,
and
I
after sun gel for your lovely.
no. I learned after that I'm a Wendigo, and Wendigos actually wear a full outfit at the Sundance. So I'll share a picture of my outfit. I called the one lady up there and asked her to make it for me. So I don't know what it's really going to look like, but it kind of looks like a scarecrow kind of thing.
Well, let me know. I'll be interested to see how it goes after, because I wanted to participate in the Sundance, and my elder that was giving me my teaching said no. So it's not for you.
Well,
It's not Mi'kmaq. It's Southern.
Yeah.
I tried. Maybe I'm happy after hearing that I didn't go. But then again, I did the fire walk and all that stuff too. So, well, I'm gonna wish you a good 4 days. So, pray for us.
I'll pray that you still recognize me when I come out.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna every day. I'm gonna eat a few bites to make sure you're well fed spiritually. Okay.
I'd appreciate that.
Yeah.
Where are you
Well,
flying? Where are you flying for your Sundance, Thunder Bear?
Sorry.
Where are you flying for your Sundance?
Pine Falls, which is 3 hours north of Winnipeg.
Okay, yeah, nice.
It's up on the side of Lake Winnipeg.
Yeah,
Up on the right hand, like if you're looking at the maps on the right hand side, about halfway up.
yeah.
No forest fire there. No forest fire there. There were a lot in
I don't know.
Alberta. No.
Don't know.
Okay.
Will you go visit Manitoba also, or no?
No, not this time.
Okay.
Manitoba is right on the Manitoba-Ontario border, basically.
Okay.
Still in Manitoba, but it's much closer to the border. Well,
Well,
so it's only about 2 hours from where we are. So.
I think we have to start to reframe that it's located in what's commonly called the Manitoba-Ontario border, but it's actually Anishinaabe land.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I was there years ago, and it's pretty amazing actually there. The amount of pictoglyphs, they call them, where they stack rocks in formations. I don't know what the technical word for that is, but it's not art, like it's not paintings on walls. It's actual rock piles in the shape of all kinds of birds and animals, and there's lots and lots and lots of them.
Inuktitut.
Similar.
No, more than that. It's more than the animal spirits are all there. Which makes me ask Silver Fox, do you know, is there the same sort of rock, what do you call it, pyroglyphics, I think maybe, or in Pabineau Falls?
What?
At Pabineau Falls, have you seen the turtle in the water?
No.
No. Okay. Supposedly, there's a pyroglyphic turtle in the water in Pabineau Falls. So I'll have to find it and get the picture.
We'll have to go snorkeling.
Yes.
Hieroglyphic.
Not
Right.
hieroglyphic. I think it's like Thunder Bear was saying, pyroglyphic or something. It's the fact that the rocks are petroglyphics. Does that sound better, Joan?
Petroglyphs, I think, is what they call them. I think.
Petroglyphs. There you go. I go to just Joan because she's au naturel. Okay, there you go. So,
She must think she's too quiet. She must think we're a bunch of boo.
Nope.
I'm joking.
okay.
She knows we are. She doesn't think we are. She knows we are.
It takes one to know one, as they say.
It It is. So we're moving forward, each of us one step at a time in the direction that we're called to, and we trust that every other individual on the planet is doing the same.
Most of the time.
Even
It's when I get caught up.
step.
It's when I get caught up thinking that other people aren't having the right experience that causes me grief.
Yeah.
Was that my phone call to you the other night where I was being a little righteous? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And he just, he's so great on that, right? I go, so I think I'm being really. He goes, yeah. So, yeah. Okay. What are you gonna do about it? Okay. Goodbye. It's like, okay, I just had to call to admit it. That was it. I had to admit it. Well,
There's something powerful about just saying that, though, I think. When you can just say it for what it is, it almost then, I think, really wants to free itself.
It's amazing, I think. I mean, that's where I feel it's this, okay, I didn't tell you. Do you remember, did you ever see that movie, that TV show? What was that one where you had the hand up all the time?
Welcome back, Cotter.
Yes, that's it, Just Stone. You got it. Yeah. Okay. So yesterday, one of the hares was sitting on my driveway. Okay. So so I walked out and I was like, can I get a picture? I'm going to get closer to you. And it just sat there. And then I'm like, okay, what would Eastern Eagle be telling me? Stop with the picture thing. What's the animal telling you? And then his little ears, when I go, what are you telling me? And his little ears go and just perk right up. And I go, I'm supposed to listen, am I? So I sat there for a little bit and I was listening, and you could hear there was, I don't know, 7 or 8 different types of birds. And I'm like, okay, I'm listening. And now I'm getting bored, and like I'm and the rabbit is still sitting there, right? And I'm like, okay, well, I got to go make a phone call now. And I came in and I made a phone call. He sat there for 30 minutes on my driveway. And you tell me, like, rabbits are always supposed to be moving all around. He just sat there. And then after 30 minutes, it was just kind of like his little scratched his face and he shook like a dog. And it was like, oh, he's just come back into his body, right? Like he'd been a statue for so long just listening. And I thought, wow, what I got was that that was the calm that exists inside me. And all that if I just would allow to be calm all the time, and the rest is my flurry of activity, right? That I have to think I need to do all this, but you can just be in that space of that calm. So that was my experience with the rabbit yesterday.
Well, I started to do meditation, and just 30 minutes in silence. I put 30 minutes and just try to let go of the thoughts that comes to you, and just it relaxes you for the rest of the day. And I think that is one of the recipe to connect with that energy, just to take the time, not being in a rush of this flow of life and all these egoic experience that people do around you. Don't get triggered by them. Learn what you don't want.
So is your list of what you don't want big or small?
Well, I'm trying to focus on what I want. What I don't want, just let it go. Let it flow away, float away. Yeah. I find very interesting. I purchased myself a catamaran, and I go on the lake, and it's peaceful. I was thinking, when I was young, I was more active and full of ego and all that stuff. But now I go on the water. Since I'm a teenager, I did not do windsurfing a whole lot. I've been working all my life. That's the first time I'm really doing something for myself in all those years. And now going on the lake is just, yeah, I enjoy it at a different degree now. Yeah, it's a place to connect and really take the time. Yeah.
And I feel that's one of the lessons for me, anyways, is that sense of we calm like the rabbit, and everything is happening around us. Like there's this concept, right, that we have to act and we have to do. But we talked last week. It's like if we prophesized it, if the prophecy and we don't do anything, is it still going to happen? And yet, I've had many experiences where it's just like I get a little bit of information, and then, like I was saying to you, Silver Fox, I only get a little bit, and then I just wait, and then go on, and then I'll get a little bit of more information and times. And it's like when I can just, in a sense, look like I rest or I enjoy or relax, sometimes that's when everything else is falling into place. And I feel like that's part of what the like so-called lesson is to trust this process, trust that things do happen and you can still enjoy yourself and have time for yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Because that's being with this great creation that is here for us to,
being in the flow, being in the flow, being in alignment with your true nature.
When we see animal with the unusual behavior around us or acting towards us, or okay, sometimes there's something else at play. Okay, that we have to seek why. Okay, and what I'm getting from your ears is that he was sitting there to communicate. Okay, he's waiting for. He was waiting and listening to you. Should make sense to you, not to anybody else.
Yeah. Like I was saying to Thunder Bear last week, I had three hares were running around the property as I was splitting wood. And I was like, that was pretty amazing for me to notice that they could still be playing, and chasing each other around when, like, technically I've got an axe. So yeah, these are all new experiences for me. Like even, the bear walking through or etc. Or it's just new. So I'm learning to realize there's more going on than I know, and I'm willing to open up to that. I don't think I have a choice, actually. So.
Listen carefully. The air was there waiting for you to talk to it, to listen to it. Should make sense to you. You have to relate to something else, but you have think about it tonight. His behavior was to let you know somebody's waiting to talk with you. Somebody wants you to go talk to him. Somebody's ready to listen to you, sitting there waiting for you to talk. May make whatever you want with it. So that's what I'm getting.
Your ex-husband.
Oh, you didn't pay your alimony? So unusual behavior when we do fasting or stuff like that. When you're alone, or usually means something behind. Sometimes there is behind something, and sometimes a bird rage in your balcony is just a bird that hit the window. Sorry, but
I collected a bunch of lovely tail feathers today.
the hairs has a huge meaning for me. So the connection with the hairs. So I might be crazy, but we talk with each other. We pass message on through each other. They're the keeper of the secret of the forest too. So when there's a message to be passed, sometimes they use the hairs. Connect with your Mi'kmaq trace.
Maybe it's not such strange behavior. Maybe it's only that's the natural behavior, and we just think they're always supposed to be running around.
I said unusual behavior, not strange.
Okay, unusual behavior.
But unusual.
It caught my attention. That's all I can say. It caught my
attention. What was supposed to do. Now
and yeah, so I'm getting there.
Yeah. You're in the wood. Who else you want me send? Who else you want us to send you a messenger? Okay. Who else you want the creator send you somebody to help move forward on stuff or send you message? You had the bear. You had the hares. You want the wolf this next week?
No,
No. Okay.
no, technically, yeah, okay, good. Not where Thunderbird. The wolf is my brother. The wolf is my brother. Yeah, we don't have any. We have maybe some coy wolves. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, anyways, it'll come when it comes. Okay. You guys might all know the answer, but I'm still experiencing it. Okay.
Yeah, and when you're just in the receiving mode and you're just putting yourself in that mode of receiving, when things happen at its own pace, when you're ready for it.
Oh, we can't have the answer. The message wasn't for us. So, it's for you.
Yes, but it seems like
Yeah.
you have an opinion on it.
No, just passing a message.
Okay. So,
I do
Jimmy,
what I'm told to.
any other
I
messages
do.
you want to pass?
I do what I'm told to do to say. That's it. That's all. When I evolve more, I get in trouble. So that's it.
Let me Google the answer for you.
Well, you should try the DuckDuckGo. They talk about airs in DuckDuck.
Yeah, I was gonna say DuckDuckGo might be better for the hairs. No.
So a little bit of stuff around my adventure to the Sundances. Sabe gave me the name of this person to give me a ride out there. And it was like, perfect. Yeah, I'm off work. I'll give you a ride there. I'll give you a ride back. I just got a text this morning. Yeah, I just have an appendicitis attack. I'm in the hospital. I can't help you.
No.
So I laughed. I said, well, I hope you're good and I hope you get better and whatever. And so I'm flying blind. I'm going to go out and see if I'm going to text Sabe if someone can pick me up. If not, I'm renting a car, one or the other, but I'm going.
Yeah.
Jim, James, Jimmy. Are you gonna meet a Jim, or Jimmy? Jim, Jimmy. Think about it after your 4 days, okay? We'll talk about it again.
Yeah, there's probably a couple hundred people there, so I'm sure there's one of those guys there.
Oh, you sound like such a great psychic there, Eastern Eagle. Is it
No,
your
just
mom
something.
or your mother? No.
We'll talk in 4 days, okay?
Yes.
Well,
I think Silver Fox is frozen now. Okay, he moves on.
Oh, I'm not moving.
He was meditating.
May the next few days bring great insight to all of us. How's that? And we can reconvene. So you won't be back next week. You'll be in the middle of the dance, correct?
Correct.
So let's all have a lovely 2 weeks and see what transpires over the next 2 weeks. Because I've been feeling like there's this huge shift happening.
Yes,
If
yeah.
you see the hairs with the pen and the paper, please tell him write it down. Oh, no.
Okay.
There's no medium or psychic, but that was quite the joke I saw there. Shit comes to me in image and words, eh? So I just saw the hairs with the paper and the pen, so she's gonna get it.
I got the calmness part. Okay, that was all very good. I'm learning that one.
We're all learning. The day you
You know,
stop learning, you die.
It's just like, for me, one of the things I've had to let go of, even in the last week or two, that came to me, I would still define my previous existence as saying that I had a lot of terror, fear to overcome in my life, right? And it's like, well, like let's stop telling that story. It's like you either choose fear now or you choose trust. You can't have one foot in each river, right? Well, you can, but eventually you're going to end up in between like 1-2 canoes. You're going to you're going to end up in the drink. So
You need to
like,
learn how to do the splits.
yes, exactly.
Good subjects for the 2 weeks. Fears.
Right. So I think that's the one that for me, the biggest thing is to, when you let go of fear, when you truly let go of fear, there is only trust. And even though you're trust and you're stepping forward, there's still this a little bit of like residual stuff that you come across and that little whoa, but it's like it becomes more and more, I would say, like in my body, I can feel that there's this sense of more peace, that agitation or the shoulders up there are they're slowly, relaxing and easing. The vessel is becoming calmer instead of exploding like the sub. That is the top news, okay? Like,
You go too deep. You go too deep and you implode.
Yeah.
You made us all quiet.
Well, just before we came on, I just happened to catch, okay, since I brought up the sub, there you go, it came up. Anderson Cooper was interviewing James Cameron, and I was like, why is James Cameron talking about the sub, right? Like that was the heading. And so I'm like, oh, I got to click on this one. Didn't he do the Titanic, right? So he supposedly is a diver and a submarine guy and all that. So he basically says in the very beginning, he goes, oh, when he heard that they lost whatever, 1 and 2, blah, 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 he knew like right then it probably had to have imploded. He goes, that was on the Monday. He goes, because you can't lose both those things. He goes, then I checked around with all my sources and different things, and an echo had been heard in the ocean, so it sounded like, so that verified that it probably self imploded. And he goes, I knew that at Monday, and he goes, and then I felt sorry for the families having to wait all that long, and you see Anderson Cooper's face. He's just kind of like, you knew that on a Monday, and he's like, yeah. And then Cameron goes, then it's almost like Cameron's like, oh, okay, so maybe my sources might not have been correct, but they did, they were first, or whatever you call it. Like if they weren't firsthand, they were secondhand, but there was a radar that said there was an explosion underneath. So we all knew that happened. And he's like, so I felt really bad for all those families having to go through all this stuff for the week when I already knew it was done. Mm-hmm. And hence, that's the end of the story, or just the beginning.
It's always just the beginning.
It's a circle of life. So we never really let go of anything?
No. It just, we just reduce the impacts that it has on us, give up the controls that it has on us. I think they'll always be there, like, memories of whatever, all the stupid things we did when we were younger, they're always going to be there, but it's just not letting it have impact on who we are. Well, sometimes it's good to remember it to motivate you to not do that again, but.
Well, it's like food in that respect. You transform the food into what you need and you get rid of the waste. It's like, what do I need to, because sometimes I know in my past, it's like, oh, I want to get rid of that, or I want to release that. And it's like, oh, look who knows so much in moving forward what you need. Yeah. Oops.
Right.
Focus on the positive. See the glass half full. And then the rest will release automatically.
Yep, and just be grateful for the drink. That's right.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's what I find, just finding more gratefulness is kind of like grease in the wheels. That makes everything kind of be a lot smoother. And I know, like years ago when first someone told me about forgiveness, it has nothing to do with the other person. I couldn't understand that. well, I'm forgiving them, so it has something to do with them. It's like, no, it's about setting yourself free from whatever emotion that you feel you need to forgive them for, whatever it is. Like if they did something to you, even if you can justify it and prove it in a court of law, that has nothing to do with it, because forgiveness is then not having, not handing your power over to them because of their actions.
Well, I learned that. I learned that in a situation in a contract where the guy wasn't really honest, and I had all the reasons to bring him to court, and then I talked with one of my mentor, and he said, "Well, you can decide to learn your lesson and go make $5,000 much quicker than trying to prove your point and make him pay the $5,000 for years of frustration and digging into the courts and all that, and then you build a reputation of dragging people in court, and then you may lose more jobs than." So after consideration, I just said, "Okay, lesson learned. I'm going to focus on moving forward." And you do much better when you have that ability to, learn from your experience with the what you don't want to have in your life.
Yes. Well, and it's probably the same lesson that anyone that's been in the field understands, is learning people. When you walk in the room and you feel this like, oh my God, and you're thinking, yeah, but I need the money, and you override that feeling and you go ahead and go do it, and then, and it's like, even if you get paid, the experience was horrible. Instead of just, I walked into this one lady's place and I had that like, oh my God. And she starts talking, and I looked at her, I says, look, you're already arguing about stuff and you haven't even given me any money yet. I said, you know what? I packed up my stuff. I said, you need to hire someone else. And I walked out without even saying goodbye. I just turned around, walked out, and she just sat there with her mouth hanging open like, oh my God.
Yeah. You got to be able to do those moves.
Yeah.
You pick your battles.
Yeah. Well, I had another experience, right? So it's contracting day, where I walked in and the people were just like, not arguing, but they were going over all the small details. I said, no, let's stop here. You just want who's ever the cheapest, regardless of quality and integrity. So I'm not him. Hire somebody else. And I turned around and walked out.
We're back to construction, huh?
Yeah, because I can feel it now. It's a new bestseller book. Just Joan, are you ready for this? Right? Like, okay, all the answers to the universe by the
Are in construction.
Oh, absolutely, they are.
Building a better future. Oh no, I think that's
by the Three Musketeers.
Is your life a teardown?
Yeah.
No.
There you go. Oh, good. So start recording your little things, guys, on your notes and write them down, and away you go.
Perfect.
Awesome.
See, I will spare you from giving you something similar. So, see, I'm being quiet.
Well done. Well done.
I'm biting the pen.
I'm proud of you, Danny.
Applause. Hey, you're giving the encouragement. Okay, perfect.
I even remember my first few client. I'm not gonna tell the story, but I even remember the name, John Calder. So that was the experience. That's all I'm gonna say.
Thank you.
I can hear Earth, Wind, and Fire.
You're welcome. It would have been long.
The Joan Calder experience in September.
Yeah, I could put him in the book. An hour and 28 minutes there. Are we wrapping this? Are we releasing something?
We're wrapping it with the best-selling book written by the three Carpenters, not the three Sopranos, not the three, tenors, the three Carpenters.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Thank you.
When do I get my check?
It's in the mail.
Silver Fox,